Hello everyone, based on my last video, I did a quick little video on 2.1 and 2.2 talking about the difference between present tense and past tense when it comes to the Silver Quality Award. And that video got a couple of further questions about 2.1 specifically, and I've got to tell you, if there is a question of all questions that have a huge impact on this application, it is indeed 2.1c. So let me try to show you what, so this is from the last video. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. The biggest question that I've been getting regarding 2.1c, this is the question that we're looking at, has to do with what are your key strategic objectives, what are your key strategic objective goals, and then how do they relate to your challenges, advantages, threats, and opportunities. And this is QAPI. So this is literally how we disseminate QAPI. So I'm going to show it to you like this. Let me pull up a little QAPI worksheet. This is my little QAPI worksheet. And all this is just like a little process map on how we utilize QAPI. But there are some, let me show you. Okay, so first, the question is, what are your strategic objectives? What are your goals? And then how do they relate to your challenges, advantages, opportunities, and threats? So from a QAPI point of view, let's go backwards and start here at the results section. So if you think about every year when you're conducting your strategic planning, you're doing your strategic plan for your center, you're identifying both where you are lacking and where you are doing really well. You're looking at both situations. And so just imagine, I'm going to draw a little graph here. Just imagine that we're just looking at some clinical numbers here. So we'll just make this exaggerated. We'll talk about falls. Let's say that if we look over 3 quarters, so quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, if we look over at 3 quarters of fall data for your center, and it looks like this, like it's getting worse. We're having more falls. The question to you, which is obvious in this example, is this a problem? Is this trending in the right direction? And the answer is nope, right? Like absolutely not. That's not the direction we wanted to go. So we're going to call that a challenge. And we would actually call it a strategic challenge, and simply meaning that if we don't take care of it, it's really bad for us. It's going to be really bad for our money. It's really going to be bad for our wallet. Money and wallet, same thing. Really bad for our census, really bad for our clinical outcomes, really bad for our star rating. Everything is bad if we don't take care of this. That's why it's strategic. If it wasn't strategic and it was just a little bump in the road challenge, we would attend to it when we got to it, if we attended to it at all. This is one of those things where we need to shine a light on here. So what we would do in QAPI is we would identify this. If you see that it says yes, no, this is a big yes. Yes, it is a strategic challenge. It's something that we want to address. And so we're going to identify it here. Here, the strategic challenge is an increase of falls. That's the challenge. So then what is the objective? The objective is always the opposite of the challenge. So we want to lower falls. That is how we identify our strategic objectives. We are looking at our data, our results, and we are making a determination. Are we doing well or are we not doing well? Are there some room for improvements or are there not? And the things that we do have room for improvements, we are going to call a strategic challenge. And then we're going to make that into a strategic objective. The goal here is just simply a measure. It's a percentage, a dollar amount, a number, a day, right? Like in this case, for lowering falls, we're going to probably keep it at a percentage. So 10%. And then we're going to add this timeline, by the end of the 3rd quarter. So that is, forget the rest of this. This is all the rest of QAPI that we're not going to get into right now because I'm just trying to show you what we're looking at. So when we look at this, it says, what are your strategic objectives? The question you should be asking yourself is, wait, Where do we get our strategic objectives? And the quality award says, how do they align to your strategic challenges in P2B? P2B, that's the hint. That's the big hint. Where do you find your challenges? Where do you find your problems? You've already likely listed them in the org profile in section P2B, where it said, what are your strategic challenges, your strategic opportunities, your threats and advantages? That's where you're going to be getting your information. And by the way, from a congruency standpoint, you'd want what's in your what you list in your strategic challenges, you'd want to bring them forward and talk about how you did, because again, it's not what are, it's what were from the last video. It's what were, it's a past tense. So you're going to tell us what you did to solve this problem, which is why when you get into 2.2b right here, 2.2b, it says what are, it's actually what were your action plans. And if you look, if you go back to my little PDSA worksheet, my QAPI worksheet, you'll see we follow the PDSA problem-solving methodology. It means we develop a plan, we do the plan, we study the results of that plan, and we take further action. Well, what does the P stand for? Plan. And what kind of a plan? Plans we're taking action on, i.e. action plans. So in 2.2b, it's like, what are your action plans, or what were your action plans? This is what they're talking about. The plans you developed when you were doing your brainstorming, right? Like this, just to run through it. We do a root cause analysis. We brainstorm some ideas. We develop some action plans. We do the plan. We study the plan. This is all QAPI 101. So I'm sure you already know QAPI, so don't confuse plan. Oh, what's a plan? It's an action plan. The plan is what you're taking action on. And that's what 2.2b is. What are your action plans? Meaning simply, in the PDSA system, what is your plan? What was your plan? And I would also put it in a table. I would do all this in a table. Column, 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 table, table, table. Identifying my strategic objectives, my goals, my timeline, if you wanted to add a timeline, because it's not asking you for a timeline, but sometimes I would put a timeline. Well, I would always put a timeline because it's how I track for QAPI. So we're tracking this way for QAPI results anyway. So we would add a timeline. And then for extra bonuses at the end, like if you had a table like this, right? Like, yeah, all right, that's not a good table. Let me draw a different one. Sorry. Oh. Stay with me. Okay. So if you had a table and it was like this, and this is your strategic objectives, and these are your strategic challenges or advantages or whatever, and this is your goals, your measure, and maybe this is your timeline. And I, for good measure, and again, you don't have to do this, but in this last column, I would put the results. And what I just simply mean to say is that I would let the examiner know where in section 7 they can see all the wonderful work I did. Because keep in mind, if you said a strategic challenge you had is false, then the examiner is going to expect when they get to section 7 that you're going to show us that you have reduced false. And therefore, proof is in the pudding that you're the type of organization that has earned the right to be a silver, and especially at the next level, a gold quality winner. Because at the end of the day, a silver quality award winner, a gold quality award winner is a learning organization. And so just to put one more small pin in this, if we came in and we saw any results like this that were negative, and I'm looking at my little chart up here, this little chart here, right here, if I were to draw a little dotted line right here, this would be called an intervention line. Intervention. I got to work on my penmanship. Intervention line. And what an intervention line is this is where QAPI gets involved. Quappy, like, hey, Quappy team, our falls have gone up over the last 3 months. You got to do something. And so the Quappy team grabs their capes and they jump in, here to save the day. And if our Quappy team is doing what they're supposed to be doing, then over the next few months or few quarters, we should be seeing this downward trend. We should be seeing this information getting way better. And that's the result that we're looking for at the end. We are looking for a graph that demonstrates your falls were up here, and then your Quappy team intervened, and now they're better. Not only are they better month over month or quarter over quarter, week over week, but they're even better than state and national numbers or, from your local competitors. Now we're cooking with some gas. You know what I mean? Like that's where the rubber meets the road in the quality award journey. Let me know if you have any other questions or any other sections you want me to go over. Let me know. I will go over them for you. Good luck. Thank you for watching. And if you got value from this video, please like, subscribe, follow, and share with your friends and colleagues. I would very much appreciate it. And of course, if you are interested in applying for a bronze, silver, or gold quality award through the American Healthcare Association, I would absolutely love to help you win.